Hello and welcome to the latest Layer123 Soundbite. Today gives me great pleasure to welcome Dr. Marcus Hacke, the founder and managing director of ngena. Welcome, Marcus.
Hi, welcome, Millad.
A pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Marcus, with so many discussions around SaaS, with quite a few varying definitions, how would you and ngena define SaaS?
Yeah, I would like to stick to the definition which was initially delivered by Gartner in August 2019, right? And it is very much about the convergence of the network and the security domain, right? But it's a very broad field and there's a lot of services which needs to be considered, right? In the networking space and very much now driven with the SD-WAN technology, it's about topics like best path selection, traffic prioritization, but especially also hybrid networking, meaning having a consistent network across different underlays like public and private networks. On the other hand, with all the changes we have seen in the IT strategy of companies, application has moved very much towards public clouds. A lot of people are working not just from the office, but being on the move or working from home. So the classical security approach, which is very much according to that castle and moat approach and relies on the perimeter security, is not working anymore because there is no clear perimeter. There's no clear boundary of an enterprise network. So you need to come up with a much more flexible, much more cloud-based and different security approach. And networking and security can't be considered anymore as separate domain, but with the reaching out to data, which are distributed in so many different places and also on public clouds, it's the access, but at the same time, you need to secure it. Therefore, you need to sync networking and security not as independent domains, but as a converged domains. And you need to integrate that services. That is my definition. And it is more a framework because from a technology and a concrete service perspective, it is aggregating a lot of different topics.
Absolutely. And Marcus, with secure access service edge being seen as a new and exciting approach in dealing with particularly network security, especially during obviously these uncertain times and people shifting towards, for example, as you mentioned before, hybrid work. Do you believe that SaaS is a solution to these uncertain times?
Oh, I would say definitely. I think the recent 1.5 to 2 years, especially reflecting to the Corona crisis, has shown how important it is to have this flexible, I call it now connectivity approach, connectivity spanning across, as already mentioned earlier, across the networking and the security domain. Because one day after the other, the people had to work from home, right? And you had to adapt your network. At the same time, you're very much exposed to the cyber threats because people at home, they use public internet, and without the right encryption technologies, with the right access controls to specific applications which are running in the data center, and so on, I think it is very, very risky, and it is even threatening from our company perspective if you don't have the right technologies and the right security frameworks being implemented. At the same time, you need to provide the access of your people, otherwise they can't work. So I think the last 1.5 years has been, I would say, a huge, wake up call for many companies and maybe for the whole industry, how important it is to really deploy this modern networking and security concepts like SASE to really ensure the proper operation of your business and not to face, I would say, nearly unlimited business risks in just sticking to your old paradigms, which would not provide the needed security or access to all the needed information for your people to continue their work.
Absolutely. Obviously, the situation, has highlighted that and acted as, almost a catalyst for this. But, in that case, what has ngena, kind of done in relation to the actual real implementation of SaaS?
Yeah, that's a good one. Look, the ngena platform itself, we call it a connectivity platform as a service, was from the initial design and our start of implementing it in 2016 already had this vision of the convergence of the networking and the security domain. So this means that that our service catalog, which we already started developing in 2016, has a broad set of networking, very much based on SD-WAN technology services, as well as security services. Just to give you a few examples, next generation firewall services, the integration of security clouds like Umbrella or Zscaler has been already in the initial design of the network. So even if I said we started the development of the ngena platform in 2016, and the terminology of SASE was defined by Gartner in 2019, even if the name was not around 3 years before we started, the basic concept, the architecture, the set of services we provide from our service catalog to our partners and to the global customer community is already, I think, a perfect example of the implementation of a SASE concept. We run our services on multiple, what we call hubs, you would call it edges in the SASE terminology, around the world. We have a meshed backbone to connect that hubs. We allow the customers to connect to all our hubs where we provide that services. So you could consider the ngena platform as a real, true implementation of the SASE concept.
Oh, that's very that's very interesting, Marcus. And the great thing is, Marcus, you'll be at the Layer123 World Congress this year, and you'll be participating in our SASE panel, which will take place on the 18th of November, virtually this year. So, I'd like to thank you, Marcus, for joining us today for this Layer123 Soundbite. And please do join me, everybody, for the SASE panel at the Layer123 World Congress, which will take place between the 16th and 18th of November, virtually. And please do visit the Layer123 website and register for the event. I look forward to seeing you there, Marcus. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Millad, and I'm really looking forward to the panel discussion.
Thank you very much.